My brother actually named me Victoria. He was 14 at the time and didn't like any of the names that my parents picked. I am not sure why he named me Victoria, but my mum always tells me that he just looked at me and said, "I am naming her Victoria." My father named me Victoria at birth because it was a name he liked personally, and it is also the name of the place where I am from. I go by the name Vicky. I prefer this name in social events and when I am around my friends. For school and work, I use Victoria. I've no idea of why I was named Victoria by my parents and aunts when I was born. Since Victoria is my middle name, I do use Pansy mostly. However, for someone close, like my boyfriend, he calls me Vicky, the nickname of Victoria, instead. I first had Victoria as my name on ID card when I was in primary school, more than 14 years ago. My class teacher told every student to adopt an English name. I myself chose Victoria because I did not want people, especially non-Chinese, to mispronounce my English name. Therefore, I chose an English name that is commonly found in Hong Kong. Besides, Queen Victoria was an influential figure in Western history. I cannot think of why non-Chinese and most local Hong Kong Chinese can mispronounce Victoria. I was born as Victoria and registered immediately with it by my parents. I go by Vix usually, a unique touch to Victoria given by my friends. I'm named mainly after the meaning and aesthetics in the name Victoria, not for any political reason, like Hong Kong's colonialism, etc., though they might have been reminded of this name thanks to the political context of Hong Kong when considering what their favourite names were before I was born. Victoria, I am told by my parents, means the conqueror, or being victorious in general, and it sounded like a beautiful, mature, positive name. I actually began to like it more and more as I grew up. Too bad that it's becoming too popular. So I like the personal touch of my shorter name, Vix, just as well. I am a Catholic. I've got the name of Victoria when I was 3 months old during my baptism. This is my Christian name, but I didn't really use this name until entering secondary school. I was born on the last day of the Persian Gulf War, and Victoria means victory in Spanish. It is also my grandmother's first name. I was named Victoria ever since I was born, because my dad is Victor. My parents, although both Chinese, grew up in the Philippines, so they both have English names, so they gave me one. I was named Yi Wing at birth, but when I was around maybe 2, I'm not sure, my parents decided to give me one more name, Victoria. Anyway, everyone has been calling me Victoria since primary school. They felt that my personality suited the name. I was quite girly back then. Besides, it means victory, winning. It's also the name of the Queen of England, and it also sounds quite good, and I like it. My sister's name happens to be Vivian, so the initial V matches. My nicknames are many, like Vic, Vic, Vicky, and Kiki. I was named Victoria by my father when I was born. If I were born as a boy, my name would have been Victor. He would like me to be victorious in my life, a very common reason for such a name. But my parents actually call me Vicky, the short form of Victoria. I wasn't officially called Victoria till only 2 to 3 years ago, when I first started working in the society, though my English teacher did call me by that name throughout my school years. Before I started working, my friends called me Ahoy, a boyish nickname which I invented myself as I didn't consider myself as a feminine kind of girl. So I needed a different nickname to represent the person I wanted to be. I became different after I started working. Everyone changes. I found a more feminine side of myself and accepted people calling me Victoria, which I wasn't so used to before. I wasn't named Victoria when I was born. In fact, I never thought of having an English name, but my school required one when I was 6. There were a lot of considerations. I considered a few common ones, such as Tiffany, Jessica, and Stephanie. Then I knew the name Victoria from a movie, but I forgot which one now. Victoria sounds elegant and sophisticated. Although my parents preferred Charmaine, they liked the name Victoria too, so I became Victoria. Another thing is, I love to stand out. I didn't want to be plain Jane. Today, Victoria is my middle name, and my friends address me as Zan, which is my first name. Both Zan and Victoria are quite uncommon. However, my family still address me as Mingming, my Chinese name. I got Victoria as my name when I was in Form 1. My English teacher asked us to adopt an English name. I wanted to have an unusual English name. I tried to check the dictionary and found out the meaning. Most of the English names for girls usually mean beautiful or cutie. But I think this name is different from others. It means victory. Other than beautiful, I think girls should strive for whatever they want to. Besides, the pronunciation of the name is beautiful and not many people use this. Although I'm called officially Victoria, usually my friends call me my Chinese name. I was named Victoria when I was born, partly because it was the name of the hospital I was born in. To be honest, I'm not so fond of my name because it reminds me of the English Queen Victoria, but I wouldn't want to change my name if I had the choice. Apart from when I go by other names when I feel like it, my friends call me a whole range of things: Vic, Vic with a K, which is the usual one, and Vicky. I have started using Victoria as my name since Form 1. My previous name was Eleanor. Actually, it's my mum who decided to change it, as Victoria sounds like tougher, and not many people know how to pronounce Eleanor. The funny thing is, my eldest sister's name is Elizabeth, so there are two queens at home. My father named me Victoria after Queen Victoria. That's obvious. My dad is half English. Don't laugh, but Her Majesty has always been my hero. I never complain about such a long name. The other reason was, I was born at a hospital called Royal Victoria. I do go by other names too. Hey, does Vicky count? Vic, Miss V, oops, these are just nicknames. I'm trying to figure out how to write my Chinese name, but nah, I never use it. I was actually called Vicky when I was small, because my mum thought that Victoria was too difficult for me to spell. But when I was in primary 3, she told me, in fact, my name was Victoria, so I think I was named Victoria when I was born. About my story as Victoria, my mum named it as my English name, while my dad named my Chinese one, and so there is no special relationship between my English and Chinese names. But my mum told me that she chose this name because of one very simple reason. People were afraid of giving a wrong or bad name to their children, and she thought Victoria should never be a bad name, as there was even a queen named Victoria in history. I'm called Victoria, but not officially. However, my English name chosen by my family when I was young was not this name, but I thought it was too common. I then chose this one myself when I was 15, as I watched English football and I loved David Beckham, so I knew his wife, Victoria. As now my friends are familiar with me as Victoria, my family has also changed to call me Victoria. My name is Victoria, and I was named after the harbour here, as my mother could see it out from her hospital window when giving birth. Because my family and I love this place so much and live here, it was only right to honour it by naming me after this place. I was offered the name Victoria when I registered as Catholic since 1985. However, when I was still very young, I gave up this name because it is too long. I was only 2 years old then. I changed my name to Winnie when I started my playgroup because Winnie in the early 1990s was quite popular. After a few years, Winnie has become rather too common. There were heaps of Winnie around you. I asked to get Victoria again when I was 7 years old. I read many stories or some explanation of it. I want to be powerful and victory. I really love this name because I'm powerful now. Just joking.